Welcome to the Faster, Easier, Better show. This podcast is short, fun, and jam-packed with good ideas that you can start using right away.
Welcome to another episode. I'm your co-host, Ellen, along with my co-host,
Lee Silber, who has good sense. Wait,
did someone tell you that?
No sense.
Because they were lying.
No, I thought this would be a fun episode if we covered how efficiency is affected by our senses. And there's
very true.
I think there's 5, but I think I maybe came up with 7. But we'll just go through them and pick the ones that we think are the most tie in with helping you to be more efficient.
Okay, this is I like this. I'm interested. Tell me more.
Well, one thing I noticed, I sometimes want to get out of the house and work outside of the house. But I mean, because it's a computer and I have papers, it's windy, I pick coffee shops. And there's certain coffee shops that I can focus and be so productive. And then there's other coffee shops, I can't get anything done. And I was trying to figure out what the heck is the difference. And it's one's light, one's dark, one's loud, one's quiet. It's one it's a vibe. It's not even a something. It's about my senses and how I'm more efficient in certain environments than others. And I wanted to figure out what it is the combination of environment or of senses that I need to have to be productive and efficient. And that's what I wanted to talk about.
And I think I figured it out. The coffee shops that you're getting everything done and you feel so productive, it's a coffee shop. I think the other coffee shop is a bar. I think you got them confused.
That's so funny. I can't work in a bar. It just seems like you go have some beers and then go exercise. It doesn't. I don't think those two things, they don't go together. Just like peanut butter and pickles, even though some people think that's delicious, they don't go together.
I was just making sure you hadn't, walked into the wrong place. Well, they got a coffee pot. Well, yeah, it's sitting right next to the vodka, but still, they got a coffee pot.
When that happens, I'm at the bottom and just, come get me, drag me off somewhere where I can get some help.
Okay. Tell me about the coffee shops what have you figured out? What do your senses tell you?
What I like is where I don't mind background noise. Like babies can sometimes sleep better when there's noise.
Right.
I actually kind of like the little bit of noise. I like being off in the corner. So I like having my back to the wall and everything out in front of me. I like one that's, I don't want too much sun because then I want to be outside. So I want it to be a little darker, right? I love
So it's like you've got this kind of dichotomy, you want light versus dark, comfy versus stayed, I guess,
Yeah.
So that's what you were looking at.
Even the smell. Some coffee shops, they what do they do? Roast, I guess it is. Roast their own coffee.
Yeah.
And I don't like that smell. I love coffee. I just don't want to smell you roasting or the beans. So
could you stop for a minute?
Yeah,
I'm working here.
Pretty much. And that's one of them. They have this big thing in the middle where nope, can't get anything done here. And I guess, temperature is important. One is freezing cold, too cold.
Ugh, no.
And one is too warm. I mean, it's got to be just right. Anyway, I'm thinking we should all start paying attention to when we are really able to focus and not be distracted, but yet have that sense of, I'm outside of my office. I'm not in because my office is a great place to work, but sometimes I need to get out. How do I recreate my office when I'm out? Or what am I looking for that I don't get from my regular office? It really helps me to focus and pay attention to all your senses. What you're seeing, hearing, feeling. Like I like to be in comfy clothes. Like I'm dressed up. Some people that's their thing. Like I want to get up in the morning and I get dressed for work. Like I'm going to work. Then they go to their office. Maybe they don't have shoes on or something, but they're still dressed. That's not me. I get dressed up for speeches and then I cannot get out of those clothes fast enough.
Well, it's like a friend of mine was talking about it. They flew to the East Coast the other day, and he was like, yeah, there's all these people on the plane in suits. And he's like, how do you sit on a plane in a suit? I got that.
Yeah.
I got that.
I mean, you're going back in time.
Yeah. But I love the idea of figuring out what it is in one environment that makes you want to work, makes you productive, and figuring out how you can apply that to your own space if necessary. But just being super aware of what works for you and not, it's the square peg in the round hole. If I know, let's say this coffee shop is too cold and it's too noisy and it's too
Smelly.
it's got smelly. I don't drink coffee, so sometimes coffee shops just smell like too much coffee. And I know, sorry people, you can complain, but they do smell too much coffee. And sometimes that's too much. But figuring out where to go and how to do that, it's fantastic. For me, one of the things I love to do is be outside. And so I make it a point to eat lunch outside as often as I can, just because I know that fills me up. It gets me excited about what I'm doing, and it refreshes me. And then I can come back inside and get things done.
Yeah, I like a coffee shop that has food. So I have, I can work longer because I get the little energy from the food while I'm working. So yeah, it's just about, I'm telling you about my preferences, but you figure out what yours are, recreate that. Sometimes coffee shops are great because all my piles of work aren't there.
Right. Exactly. They're not there. That's perfect. So keep your senses in mind when you go about your day so you can get more done. And be back with us again next week for another episode.